Welcome to The Project. Tonight we speak to families left in limbo, how the ban on hormones for transitioning teens is affecting Aussies and their plan to take on the government.
He's vowing to make Australia great again inside Clive Palmer's Marga-style rebrand.
Plus, he's got one of the most iconic voices of all time. Georgie chats to Severance star and acting royalty Christopher Walken.
Oh, so good. And the world's best beaches have been revealed. You're not going to believe this. Australia's not making the top 10. Now, I looked into it. We would have ranked higher, but all the judges who loved our beaches got eaten by our sharks. That swings in roundabouts, I guess. Yeah.
We are live from the lands of the cooler nation, and we're all here. Georgie Tunney.
Would you describe us as a gang?
Yeah.
Whenever I think gang, I think Georgie Tunney.
That's right.
Yeah, she's a gang leader.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
gang.
Thank you, guys.
We're like the Beatles, but tone deaf.
I'm Ringo, okay? The cool one.
Let's get into today's top stories. And it's likely two Sydney nurses who threatened to kill Israeli patients during a video chat will face charges. New South Wales Police are considering laying the Commonwealth charge of using a carriage service to menace, harass or cause offence. If the pair was convicted, they could face up to 5 years jail. Detectives are now working to ensure a statement from Israeli influencer Max Vifer is valid for Australian courts.
Anthony Albanese heads to Whyalla tomorrow in the wake of the South Australian government's bombshell move to force the town's steelworks into administration. It had to pass legislation to make it happen, although the Premier says he can't reveal how much the business owes. But he has reassured its 1,000 employees that they will be paid.
This is the right course of action to secure steelmaking in this country.
Kevin Spacey has slammed former Neighbours star Guy Pearce over his claims about their time on the set of the film LA Confidential. Guy revealed on a Hollywood Reporter podcast that Kevin scared him.
You brush it off and go, oh no, that's nothing. But I was young and, susceptible and he targeted me, no question.
And Kevin, who's been acquitted or had charges dropped in legal proceedings against him, didn't hold back as he responded on social media.
Here you are now on a mission some 28 years later after I've been through hell and back to do what? Just in time to stop the bad guy? Huh? You are not a victim.
Whoa. The latest parenting style to go viral is called FAFO. That stands for F around and find out. It's about letting children do what they want within reason so that they learn the consequences of their actions. So, for example, if a kid refuses to wear a jacket outside and they get cold, oh well, too bad. Or if they refuse to eat dinner and get hungry later, deal with it, Timmy.
Timmy seems quite directed. Isn't this just bad parenting? Isn't this?
No,
I don't have children, but
bad parenting.
This is what I would hope to be.
Sensational parenting.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
No, really?
Yes.
I thought you have to love them.
No, this is loving them because you're preparing them properly for the real world so they can learn. Like, I think in an imaginary world, if I was going to have a child, I would like to be this type of parent, but I think that I would be the person that's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yes.
Don't do that. Because
Well, you're like that with
I'd
me,
be worried.
so I can't
Samuel,
your own child.
don't touch it. It's hot.
She doesn't even care.
Yeah, she doesn't like me, really.
I feel like that's how I started out, and then you just get worn down. You're like, okay, you want to touch the hot oven? Touch it. See what happens. Find out. What you don't want? You've lost your school hat again, and you don't get to play on the playground because you don't have your hat.
Yes.
Oh well. Deal with those consequences.
All right, so as the two parents on the panel, just
we
between
probably should have let you guys speak first.
Sam and I leapt in.
between us, come clean. How long did it take for you to just give up and just say, you know what, I'm not bringing you lunch when you've forgotten it?
No, I still do.
How many? You still do?
Yeah, I'm a sucker. And a lot of it's time, because I feel like there's not a lot of time to have these teachable moments in the morning.
No, but that's what's great about this. You don't need to teach. You just need to neglect.
Starve them.
Yes.
I know. I'm going to be tougher.
You know what? I forgot my lunch today. Mum didn't bring it, so I don't know. Guess she's keeping me mean.
Well, are you a billionaire hoping for a political comeback? Then this might be your time. 1 week after the High Court blocked his United Australia Party from re-registration, Clive Palmer is back with a new Trump-inspired venture.
We want to reinvigorate reinvigorate. What's that mean? Reinvigorate the political debate in this country.
Australia's most press conferencey mining magnate is back with a new political party.
Trumpet of Patriots.
One whose name is obviously intended to reference a famously autocratic monarch, Peter the Great, Emperor of Russia. Oh, hang on. I just clocked the first bit.
It's the trumpet of patriots. It's the trumpet.
Okay, I get it.
Trumpet of patriots will put Australians first and make Australia great again.
But for a party that wants to put Australia first, there was an awful lot of talk about a certain foreign leader.
The party believes in the policies of Donald Trump. Australia needs Trump policies. Donald Trump, President Trump's policies. That's if they believe in Trump's policies. Donald Trump.
The launch focused on cost of living pressures, housing availability, and of course, gender.
Our policy is to recognise that there are two genders.
With a promise that the actual policies and candidates would all be revealed at a future date. Clive isn't running this time.
I'm too old.
But just like another famous Palmer, he just wants to know where the money went.
Our biggest policy is to cut government waste, much as Elon Musk is doing in the United States.
The man who spent more than 100 million of his own coin at the last election, willing to spend as much as it takes.
I'm more than happy to spend my funds defending the right of free speech, and whatever's required to be spent, it'll be spent.
People are entitled to run, but it's a distortion of democracy when you have an individual spending $100 million on a campaign.
So will voters like the tune Trumpet is playing, or consider it all full of wind?
Do they want to vote for the trumpet of patriots? Of course they do, especially the trumpet part.
Well, here to help us make sense of it all is Sam Maiden. Sam, Donald Trump was mentioned quite a lot at this launch. Is Clive onto something here? Is he tapping into what Australians want? Do we want, to vote for a local MAGA franchise?
Well, I think what some people want is a bit of chaos, right? They're sick of the major parties, they're sick of being told what to do. And I think there is a vein of voters that likes a little bit of disruption, if you like. Now, it was always thus. I mean, some people vote for the legalised marijuana party, some people vote for the animal justice party, and some people vote for the I'm going to piss $100 million up against the wall billionaire party.
Sam, Clive Palmer didn't have a lot of luck with Titanic 2, Palmasaurus, his version of Facebook.
Well, you know all the hits.
I do, I really do.
Palmasaurus had potential.
It did have potential, And Titanic 2, it could still happen. But how do you rate his political chances this time around? And secondly, do you think he knows the name of his party?
Well, I think it's a question about tactics here, right? He spent $100 million to get, Ralph Babet elected in the Victorian via Victoria into the Senate, and I'm sure you've all heard of the good things that he's been doing. Probably not, because I'm not convinced there are many of them. But he could still be a really powerful influence in this campaign in individual seats because he's got a lot of money. The first is about how he shifts the debate onto these areas that he wants to talk about, whether it's gender, whether it's government waste, whether it's about, bashing the Labor Party. That has been a huge problem for the Labor Party in previous elections, just a blizzard of negative ads. So he's really acting, I suppose, as a bit of a surrogate in some ways for the Coalition and the Liberal Party. He can say these outrageous things. He's going to funnel preferences to the Conservatives, and he's also going to shift the political debate, I think. And for all of those reasons, I think that it is bad news for the Labor Party.
Wow.
Now, Sam, jazz musicians often refer to the trumpet as a horn. So do you think Clive considered calling the party Horn for Trump?
No, I don't believe that he did. But look, I mean, the other thing that he's doing is he's having fun, right? And this guy is having fun. He's having the time of his life. And he's also deploying some really interesting Trump-style tactics in the press conference, which is taking on the journalists and giving them a bit of a kicking, which I think a lot of people like to see as well. A lot of people like to have people like me mocked. And so if Clive Palmer's out there doing it, I think that is going to tap into voters that are sort of, that idea that they're sick of being told what to do by the elites. So I think that he is smarter than people give him credit for. And I think he could be more powerful in this election than people think, even if he doesn't win a seat.
Kicking journos. You're the Iron Maiden. You'd give it right back, wouldn't you, Sam?
I'd love to go toe-to-toe with Clive. Who doesn't like a palmy?
Sam, love your work. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
That would have been a party name, wouldn't it?
What?
Who doesn't like a palmy?
Yeah,
That's what he
Or
should
just
have
the
called it.
palmy party.
Yeah.
Didn't she do well to take your question seriously?
I know, yeah. Like, I appreciate it. It's like I'm a real journalist.
And you like jazz?
I'm a big jazz guy.
yeah.
Just jazz cigarettes?
It's the
My mummy is watching. Anyway, this morning, Victorian Minister Danny Pearson, he seemed pretty fired up and he had a few choice words for Liberal MP Matthew Guy.
Matthew Guy was a terrible leader of the opposition and he's an even worse shadow minister for transport.
Oh, meow, saucer of milk for pretty Danny over there. Anyway, don't worry, guys. I had a few jazz cigarettes. Anyway, it didn't bother Matty G, Matthew Guy, right? Because this guy, he's a cool customer, right? He's chill. He doesn't care. It's water off a duck's back.
Well, Danny Pearson says you're a terrible opposition leader and you're even worse shadow transport spokesperson.
Danny Pearson just got demoted. I wouldn't be taking advice from him. Pearson's about as popular as, holiday in Paraguay. Bloody hell, I should take lectures from a dog.
Wow.
Pearson has got no friends.
He then followed it with, I know you are, but what am I? He flushed his head down the toilet. It was great stuff.
hello to all our Paraguayan viewers.
Yeah, I don't support Matthew Guy on that.
We're off to a break. See you soon.
Time now to see what's making news around the world.
Following talks with Russia about ending the Ukraine war, US officials say concessions will have to be made on all sides. US President Donald Trump dismissed concerns that Ukraine was excluded. He even implied, falsely, Kyiv was to blame for the war.
Today I heard, we weren't invited. Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal.
Astonishing new footage has emerged showing the moment that plane crash-landed at Toronto's Pearson Airport. Amazingly, everyone on board survived, but it's an experience they say they'll never forget.
Every single time I'm on a plane and it's about to land, for the rest of my life, there's no way that moment doesn't come up. There's no way.
And remember China's fake pandas? Well, now a tourist snow village in Chengdu has been busted using cotton wool and white sand to create a winter wonderland. When the real snow didn't arrive, management figured they'd just fake it, hoping no one would notice. Photos of the cotton wool went viral. After that, it was refunds all round.
Just don't, in what world is no one going to notice?
Yeah.
In the world of Instagram.
Yeah.
As long as it looks good.
Because they were also using soapy water as like a form of
But the
snow.
problem...
I don't think they are given enough credit for their creativity.
Yeah.
They
That's a
want a
good
zoo, they have a crafternoon. Have you seen this? They painted a donkey to resemble a zebra.
And the crazy, that looks real.
And then
as
also,
well.
don't have a tiger, just paint a dog.
He got a chow.
I mean, famously in Queensland, Fine Cotton, the racehorse.
Oh,
Remember had his
yes.
feet painted? I think they should be given a bit of a high five for creativity.
Hang on, but if you went there and you paid good money to go to the snow thing, but you
want a
want to
panda
see
dog,
the snow
okay.
village, and you got cotton wool instead.
Well, here's the other way to think about it. There are lots of snow villages. There aren't many cotton wool villages.
Exactly. And maybe that's better for skiing. We haven't tried it. It could be good. Guys, Melbourne police busted 2 men who took a minibus for a joyride yesterday. Now, they damaged this guy's car, but to him, he didn't really seem to care. He had a different detail that he found outrageous.
Didn't hit me, could have hit a kid, there were kids around and it's just scary. Like, what do they do? It's a Tuesday.
Yeah, it's a Tuesday for guys. I mean, stealing a minibus is a Thursday activity. That is the real crime here.
Well, today is Wednesday and it's already been a big week for Aussie music, so let's take a look at what's been making waves.
In Perth, our pop queen Kylie's Tension World Tour debuted to rave reviews. Indie rock star Courtney Barnett has covered classic Neil Young track Lotta Love for a specialist school fundraiser in California. The Temper Trap has thanked fans for getting around the new acoustic release of their huge 2008 hit Sweet Disposition. Canadian singer Tate McRae is in love with our boy, the Kid Laroi, and revealed her new album dropping Friday will feature their first collab, I Know Love.
Started off friends, how you end up here next to me.
And that's another Aria Amplified.
This is the project. Over to you, Snoop.
Oh, guys, I'm feeling a bit flat today.
No.
Almost as flat as what Georgie reckons the Earth looks like. But the thing that always perks me up is checking in with the international TV news. There's a lot of it. Let's do it! All right, first to the US, where Fox News is full of praise for Trump's most recent addition to the White House.
Donald Trump has decided to hang his mugshot just outside the Oval Office. Head of state, reporter, anybody who walks into the Oval Office has to walk right by Donald Trump's mugshot. And it's such a great message.
It is a great message, I agree. For the same reason, I have a copy of a $200 parking fine framed in our office. The producers here never mess with me, OK? Now let's go to the UK for an exciting advancement in the future of aged care.
Oh,
hello.
That is the moment care home residents in Middlesbrough were surprised by a stripper on Valentine's Day.
Wow.
It's been an absolute pleasure to join the residents here today, putting a smile on the faces of the residents.
OK, well, you don't want to see which balls they use for bingo. Now, put a smile on their faces, that gentleman did. Let's hear from one very satisfied customer.
It was a nice body, nice, athletic.
Yep.
And everything he did was lovely.
It was the best experience of my life. We even rubbed some oil on his body, me and Betty.
Now, the magician they booked next week's really got his work cut out. Hopefully he can make his own clothes disappear. He's going to need to. Guys, let's stay in the UK where this host is asking the big questions.
Now, have you ever wondered how ancient Egyptian mummies smell?
Oh.
Forget the ancient mummy. I want to know how the aged care stripper smells. Let's go back to the US because I've never had more in common with an animal than I do with this little guy.
This possum was rescued by the Nebraska Wildlife Rehab after it ate an entire chocolate cake from Costco.
Officials there say the possum was mobile and alert, but panting heavily.
Panting heavily is how I described Sarah after interviewing Austin Butler.
Yeah, fair.
Finally, let's end on this very adorable event that went viral around the world.
87-year-old Doug Turner is going house to house inviting all his neighbors.
Hi, I'm Doug across the street over here, right? I live over in that house there. Okay. And it's an invite to a party.
It's an invite to
He's having a
Doug's
party.
winter party this weekend. The party starts at 4 p.m. and lasts until the cops arrive.
Oh yeah, Doug. He's Pennsylvania's Corey Worthington. Don't worry, guys. Doug, he's also booked some entertainment, which is nice. There they are. Look at it go. Look at this.
Yes.
Look at that. We reversed it. Reversed it. That one.
It's amazing with technology
It's
what
crazy.
you can do.
I can't wait to get old.
Yeah.
We're up to a break. Cheers.
Let's get some more news now, and we've got some breaking news. The New South Wales State Government has had a major win at the Fair Work Commission. The rail union has been ordered to suspend the industrial action, that's crippled Sydney's train network for months until July. The Commission says it made the call to end mutual recriminations between the union and the government over a pay deal. Big news.
An urgent investigation is underway tonight after a cyber attack on one of Australia's 3 largest IVF providers. Genea has confirmed an unauthorised third party accessed its data after detecting suspicious activity on its network. It's not yet clear what type of data has been accessed or whether any personal information has been compromised.
And despite Australia's reputation for great beaches, not a single one made TripAdvisor's top 10 list for 2025. Ella Finissi Beach in Greece claimed the top spot, followed by Thailand's Banana Beach, Aruba's as well. Eagle Beach was there. Florida's Siesta Beach and this beach in Portugal rounded out the top 5.
What's it called, Sarah? What's the name of the beach?
You were supposed to be in it. You were supposed to be reading this one, Praia de Felicia.
Nailed it.
Sydney's Manly Beach was 50.
That's crazy.
And Bondi was ranked 24.
Why would they even...
They're not the best beaches in New South Wales.
Well, Manly's not even the best beach on the northern beaches. It's like...
What makes a good beach?
Well, according to
sand.
TripAdvisor, it says that it has to be the centre of everything, and that's what they use to describe why Manly was in
No, that's a terrible...
the 15th
That's terrible
spot.
criteria. The best beaches are the middle
I would
of
agree.
nowhere.
A bit more secluded.
Yeah.
Hymes Beach for me is the greatest
Hymes Beach, where I grew up, beautiful
Yeah.
part of the world. You've got to get down there, guys. I'm not being paid by them, but it's a great place. You should get down there. You went somewhere recently
yes.
that is part of Australia. I didn't even know it was part of Australia.
Yes, so I went because my wife was doing research, academic research in the Cocos Islands.
Yeah.
Which is a part of Australia, but it's actually it's near Christmas Island.
Yeah.
It's out, way out that way, and you can get there with a couple of domestic flights.
A couple?
And it is, you go to Perth and then you go there. It is astonishing.
Yeah.
And the best beaches you will ever see.
Can you get fish and chips?
Yes.
I think that is one of the criteria.
Definitely.
Right.
And you can see lots of turtles.
I think there needs to be a few sternly worded letters to
think so.
TripAdvisor after that list. Now, it is the bombshell ban that has left trans teenagers in Queensland facing an uncertain future. Now, more than 100 experts are making their voices heard, calling on the state to backtrack on its decision to pause puberty blockers for trans kids.
All of us just want happy, healthy teenagers. It has really devastated me.
Left in limbo, 15-year-old V. Redford had been about to transition using hormone replacement therapy when Queensland dropped a banned bombshell.
Especially after 4 very long and tedious years. And to be so close and then them to do this, it was so crushing.
More than 100 heavyweights from medical experts to human rights lawyers and even an Australian of the Year today advocating for kids like V in an open letter, demanding the state government reverse its decision to halt puberty blockers and hormone treatments for new patients under the age of 18 with gender dysphoria.
All it does is stop puberty in its tracks. This way, the young people are able to talk to the people at the gender clinic where they would like their life to lead and what they would like to look like at the end.
The ban, which sparked backlash, made in the wake of allegations that children in Cairns have been given gender-affirming hormones without the correct medical support and parental consent.
We are doing a review to make sure that the health and safety of all children is front and foremost.
The state government also pointing to another factor behind its ban, which won't be lifted until at least next year.
There is a widely contested international evidence for the appropriateness and safety of hormone therapy being delivered to children.
In the US, President Trump has ordered all funding for transgender care be cut. And last year, Britain banned puberty blockers for transgender kids indefinitely.
This is the advice from expert clinicians. It is a scandal that medicine was given to vulnerable young children without the proof that it is safe or effective.
Last month, the federal government launched a national inquiry into the care of transgender children in Australia, including the use of hormone blockers. But for nearly 500 Queensland kids like V waiting for treatment, it could be too little too late.
It is so devastating because they have such a small window and if they miss it, they'll have to go through the wrong puberty. If it's too late, you're stuffed.
Psychiatrist and Professor Ian Hickie is one of the health experts who signed the open letter to the Queensland Government. Professor Hickie, why did you add your name to it?
Because I don't want to see any child in Australia, particularly in Queensland, miss out on comprehensive medical and psychological assessment and appropriate care for largely political reasons rather than medical or scientific reasons.
Professor Hickie, I understand that this is such a fraught issue, but in this case, a 12-year-old was allegedly given puberty blockers without parental consent. I mean, that's a thought that must terrify a lot of parents. Can you understand some of that fear?
Absolutely. So the appropriate response when any clinic for any medical condition appears not to be following appropriate guidelines is to look at what's happening in that clinic. We have mistakes or things go wrong in paediatrics, in cancer care, in hospitals all the time. We don't shut down the treatment because someone hasn't provided it appropriately. we look into what's going on in that clinic.
Puberty blockers and hormone replacement therapies, are they completely safe?
No medical treatment is completely safe. The idea that everything is completely safe is a myth. There's a trade-off here between the relative benefits and the changes. And the benefits versus risk are also complex. The mental health, the physical health, the social implications, the educational and cognitive development. There's a whole range of factors that are influenced by puberty itself or by delaying puberty. Of course, the identity and social development by potentially changing genders or changing how you present yourself are also really important. So this is a complicated area. It's why the federal minister has said, look, guidelines need to be clear. We need to get our own National Health and Medical Research Council to overview and update those guidelines so everyone, including families, including all those concerned, can know what we all agree now is the best evidence while we go on collecting future evidence about the longer-term mental health, cognitive and physical health outcomes.
What do you make of the more cautious approach that countries like Finland, Norway, Sweden, France have taken in this area?
So I'm glad you said cautious, because this is often misreported as banning, as if they've all banned. In the UK, the NHS-supported services are now saying only within a clinical trial, although they haven't worked out what that trial is. The Scandinavian countries are saying they're looking at more restrictive practice. So what nobody wants is very open prescribing or very reckless prescribing, particularly in poorly organised services or services that do not have the comprehensive care that we're just discussing. So what those governments are doing, I think appropriately, is saying this needs to be really well monitored, national agreements, and then clinics need to perform to those standards. Of course, that means that governments provide those actual services. Very sadly, for example, in the UK at the moment, lots of kids are being sent to child mental health services that actually have no expertise in that area. And we don't want the outbreak in Australia of a whole lot of private clinics that don't have comprehensive services. So, you know, this is an area in which we need to be careful that governments support the best quality services. And that's largely happening through our children's hospitals at the moment and is largely happening in very appropriately governed and transparent clinics.
Professor Ian Hickie, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're watching The Project. We're back soon. We're back. You're watching The Project. Georgina.
Yes, thank you so much, Waleed. Now, I sat down with one of Hollywood's finest actors to unpack our collective confusion over his psychological thriller, Severance.
Few actors are as loved across generations as Christopher Walken.
Yes!
He won an Oscar for his work in The Deer Hunter in 1979.
I'm very happy to have this.
Was part of one of the most famous SNL sketches of all time.
I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
And helped Fatboy Slim clock up 89 million views for these moves. Now he's part of the gripping sci-fi thriller series Severance that follows workers whose memories have been surgically divided between their professional and personal lives.
Hi.
And the second season still has me guessing.
Why did you do this? What is this all about?
Christopher Walken, welcome to The Project. It's so exciting to be talking to you, and fans are so excited for the second season. How does it feel to be back doing Severance?
Oh, it's wonderful, you know, to be back with the part and old friends.
It can be a really unsettling series, though. At least that's what I feel when I'm watching it. But your role as Bert is really quite tender and one of the loveliest parts of the show. What's that like to play?
Well, for me, it's interesting because at this point in my career, I played so many villains that at this point to be playing a good guy and with a love interest, it's quite new. I would like to play more people like that, you know, the fathers, grandfathers, you know, people who have the kids ask them, you know, Grandpa, what should I do? And I say, just try to do the right thing. You know, guys like that.
I love that. I love that. Well, whenever I'm watching the show, I'm really excited to finish season 2. But so far, I've got to admit, I don't quite know what is happening whenever I watch Severance. I'm always being like, what is going on? Trying to figure it out. Do you know what's happening?
Well, you know, in Severance, most of my stuff has to do with John Turturro.
Yes.
The rest of it, I don't know.
Great. That's me. We're on the same page then. Is it normal, I guess, to work that closely with just one actor?
Sure, that happens a lot. You know, the actor Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
I was in 5 movies with him before I met him. We had small parts, but we never met. And I was at a stoplight in Los Angeles. The guy next to me was blowing his horn, and I looked over, and it was Jeff Goldblum. And he said, "Finally, we meet."
Must go faster.
Now, Christopher, you're probably aware that you have a really famous voice that a lot of people have tried to impersonate over the years.
So there's this lion, the king of the jungle. Ladies and gentlemen, Foo Fighters.
I feel like what this show needs is more cowbell.
Is that weird?
You know, people sometimes do it right in front of me. I'll meet somebody and they start, and my first reaction is always, why are they speaking in that strange way?
Yeah.
And then I realize that they're impersonating me. So it's odd, yeah.
Well, Christopher Walken, if you would be so kind, could you do me the honour of giving me your best Christopher Walken impersonation?
No, I'm doing it right now, but it always sounds strange to me. They'd say, well, why? Hey, wow, you know. But I don't think I really sound that way.
One of my favourite parts, I think, of your career was actually your turn in Hairspray and that song Timeless to Me, one of my all-time favourites.
You're timeless to me.
I'm curious, has there been a moment in your career that you would consider to be timeless?
You know, I think transitioning from being a dancer into being an actor was very strange and, of course, very nice for me. I never meant to be an actor. I was in musicals. I thought I'd be in musicals all my life. And then I got a job in an off-Broadway play. I nearly got fired because I didn't know what I was doing. And then I got another job. That was a kind of, serendipity.
Serendipitous indeed, and it led you to the severed floor, which we can all be really thankful for. Christopher Walken, thanks so much for the chat.
Thanks. Good luck.
That good luck. Great.
So good.
That little good luck was for me trying to figure out what on earth is happening on Severance, which you can watch right now on Apple TV+. Samuel.
It's the best show. Guys, let's go to Brisbane, where Billie Eilish fans have been camping for days to get a good spot at her concert. Thankfully, the excitement of seeing their favourite artist has kept their spirits high, thank God.
So many fans here now. Maya, you've been here since 7 o'clock last night. Tell me, what's that experience been like?
It's been really sad and we've been really tired.
Look, girls, let me tell you, you buy a ticket to a Sam Taunton stand-up comedy show, I guarantee you're going to get a good seat. You'll get multiple good seats. Buy a ticket, please.
Got to take a break, more Project right after this. Hello, you're watching The Project.
She's Hollywood star turned princess turned palace pariah who never seems to run out of rebrands. And today, Meghan Markle announced her latest venture, leaving everyone confused at best.
From suitcase girl to suits girl.
Good. You've hit on me. We can get it out of the way that I'm not interested.
Princess.
He got on one knee.
Boom. To pariah.
The decision that I have made for my wife and I to step back is not one I made lightly.
Few have seen more rebrands than the world's favourite royal villain, Meghan Markle.
What was hard to get over was being blamed for something that not only I didn't do, but that happened to me.
Beyonce just texted. She thinks I was selected to break generational curses.
I also make a really solid bolognese sauce.
Now she's back with a shiny new rebrand of her lifestyle company, American Riviera Orchard.
American Riviera is a terrible name, Meghan. It's too long, it's too wanky.
The hopefully less wanky new name, As Ever.
It's recording.
Okay. I had thought, you know what, American Riviera, that sounds like such a great name. But it limited me to things that were just manufactured and grown in this area.
The internet spiralling over her launch video, which some say contains a subtly veiled dig at the royal family for keeping her from her passions.
I've always loved cooking and crafting and gardening, and I haven't been able to share it with you in the same way for the past few years, but now I can.
Think of this video as a masterclass in being insufferable.
Are we confused as ever? Probably.
Who is advising Meghan?
Meghan Markle is a business disaster.
Why is she squatting in a flower bed to make this video anyway?
But the brand is already off to a rocky start. A Spanish town threatening legal action over the As Ever logo, which looks a lot like its coat of arms, while the name itself has already been taken by an American clothing label.
Of course there will be fruit preserves. I think we're all clear at this point that jam is my jam.
So does Meghan's millionth venture have any hope of winning back some public favour?
You see the tabloids running with this? Annoying as ever, bland as ever, greedy as ever, desperate as ever.
Well, here to unpack it all with us is royal commentator and podcaster Kinsey Schofield. Kinsey, what's an as ever?
Technically, the definition is something that remains unchanged or consistent over time, which is literally the antithesis of Meghan Markle. I've lost count of how many rebrands we're at now, but I mean, I've seen hurricanes with more consistency.
Oh, wow. Well, Kinsey, what is actually behind this rebrand? And is she going for more Gwyneth Paltrow or Martha Stewart?
Ooh. Oh, yes.
What is behind the rebrand is legal necessity. In Meghan's Instagram announcement, she really wants you to believe that this was all a part of an elaborate plan and an intentional path. But the reality is she couldn't get American Riviera Orchard past the U.S. Patent and Trademark offices. And along with the boutique in New York with the same name and the coat of arms, she just secured the Instagram handle a couple of hours ago here in the States. When it comes to who she's trying to emulate, I think those are both really great examples, but I see her more as a Fergie, Duchess of York, spokesperson for Weight Watchers in the States, appearing on home shopping networks late at night selling blenders, an influencer and salesperson. Fergie also worked with Oprah multiple times and released cookbooks. So I feel like she is more comparable to Prince Andrew's current roommate than Gwyneth Paltrow.
Wow.
Wowzers.
Okay.
Will there be jade eggs with that jam?
Yeah. Well, where does my man Harry fit into all this? Has he got one foot in the jam business as well?
I think that's a really fair question. It's been reported that Harry's barely featured in Meghan's new lifestyle show for Netflix. Meanwhile, last month, Vanity Fair reported that someone from Meghan's camp was shopping around a Meghan Markle post-divorce book from Prince Harry to American publishers. So is this Meghan trying to set herself up for financial independence? We'd be silly not to ask that question.
Well, Kinsey, I mean, there's a lot of hate that always comes at Meghan, rightly or wrongly. Do you think there's anything that she does well?
I mean, I really am impressed by the fact that she married a prince. I wish I could figure that out too. And she's great at PR. She's so good at PR. I mean, look, we talk about her every single day. So obviously that she's good at getting headlines.
Indeed. I reckon you're not bad at it too.
Kinsey, please come back on the show.
Yes.
I love that sound.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Well, our next guest is the British comic finding comedy in tragedy.
Listen, sometimes it's important to laugh at the failures that hurt us. You know, even the people that survived the Titanic found it funny. They did, babes. They had a chuckle. They had a little titter. This is true. Look, if I'm Rose, I'm laughing. Not straight away, obviously, but later. Once my clothes are dry.
Would you please welcome James Bay?
Thanks for having me, guys.
So nice to have you here. In fact, we heard you got held up in biosecurity on the way in.
I've
what did
never
you smuggle
been.
in?
I didn't smuggle anything, okay? But I'd never been to Australia, so I was freaking out because I've seen border security. Australia's
Great show.
What a great show.
Yeah.
Love it, but I was terrified. The guy looked at me, looked at my passport, looked at me, and he just goes, "This is the most Australian thing that's ever happened." Well, get in here, you big bastard. That's a good impression, right?
That's not
That's such a good impression. Thank you.
That's the nicest thing I've ever heard an Australian say.
Was that his way of welcoming you?
I think that was my official welcome. And I love it here. Thank you for having me in your beautiful country.
Because you would have known from border security that you're not going to get pulled up unless you're Asian or something.
Yeah, right, exactly. Luckily, I'm not, but I do love Asians. Particularly the gay ones.
Now, you're here touring, which is good, but in the UK, some people might know you regularly go toe-to-toe with Piers Morgan on his show. I think we've got a clip of this here.
Why am I constantly
Where
getting
is my straight flag?
Why are straight people holding hands in the
When
street?
have you ever seen a straight flag?
Why are straight people
Where
pushing
is the straight flag?
identity
Where's the
onto
straight
me?
flag?
Everywhere.
Where's my straight flag?
It's everywhere.
It's never been a straight flag.
You're a straight flag. And he is.
Is it always? Are they always heated moments?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, listen, I don't know if you know Piers Morgan in this country, but he looks like the kind of guy you see at a wedding, shazamming "I've got a feeling," and he is a straight flag. He's kind of like your Pricey, you know?
Oh my God!
He's he's like your Pricey.
I get the feeling you two have a little bit of a... he likes you.
He definitely fancies me. If he wants to plant his straight flag, he knows who to colonise. I'm ready.
Do you ever get nervous in those toe-to-toe moments?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because he doesn't want me to win, so it is a bit scary.
Well.
But, it's kind of personal for me because Piers Morgan actually caused one of the biggest arguments I had with my ex-boyfriend, which my show is about that I'm doing in Adelaide and Melbourne. And I should just quickly explain the differences between me and my ex. So I'm a Virgo, and he was abusive. And so, we had this massive row about Meghan Markle because my ex-boyfriend, he loved the royal family, he loved the Queen. And so when Meghan basically called the Queen racist, he was really angry about that. And I tried to say, look, if the Queen could put Ayers Rock in a brooch, I think she probably would have done that, right? Like, if the crown jewels could talk, they wouldn't be speaking English. And he was really upset about that. He got really angry. There was some violence. He pushed me down the stairs.
Whoa!
Yeah, and so, it was a very difficult time. But I've now found a way to sort of talk about that publicly and hopefully make audiences connect with it. And you're probably wondering, how did I get out of that relationship? Because when you're in an abusive relationship, it's very difficult. But as I said, he loved the Queen. And one day, out of nowhere, God reached down from heaven and handed me a lifeline by killing the Queen. And it's hard to pinpoint that exact moment you feel safe enough to change the locks when you live with an abuser. But when your ultra-royalist boyfriend is in an 18-hour-long queue to see the Queen's body in a box, your diary really opens up.
So there's obviously quite a dark undertone to the...
Oh, do you think? Is that what you're getting?
I'm just
but important stuff.
Yeah, I'm interested, though, in how that is as a comedian.
I think it's really important to joke about everything, to be honest. And it's not my shame to carry. Like, he did the pushy-wushy down the stairsy wearsy. So I feel like it's important to give the shame back to the world.
Yeah, right.
And I did consult a lawyer to check if I was
I was going to say the legal ramifications we saw with baby reindeer and things like that.
I mean, I have been with quite a lot of guys, so the lawyer said I had some plausible deniability on account of my extensive dating history.
Tickets for James's Australian shows are available on our website. In the meantime, would you please thank James Bond?
Are you going to sign up to Meghan's new website?
Oh my God, am I? Yes. I love Meghan.
Jam. That's it for tonight. Stick around for Australian Survivor. Catch you tomorrow, Australia. Bye.